The NF Audio NA2 Plus. Let's talk about it. This is sent to me by NF Audio. They did send me a few IEMs, so this is the first of a batch. They also did send some kazoos, strangely enough, and I'll show them to you guys later. Also, I am getting another NF Audio product from Hi-Fi Go in a little bit, so you'll see quite a few NF Audio IEMs on this channel over the next few weeks. Let's start by talking about this IEM. This IEM is $169. The driver is a double cavity dynamic driver. Let's look at the build quality of this IEM. Now, the shell of this IEM is pretty fantastic. I'm a pretty big fan of it. It's nice and metallic. It has their NF Audio brand on the front. It has kind of a QDC style connector with a small nozzle. It fits really good in ear and it feels good in ear as well. It has that nice lip that I like. You can fit ear tips on it really well. It kind of has that little groove. It works with almost any cable you want it to, and overall the build quality is good. You can see the kazoos here on the left and right here, and the kazoos are kind of fun. This is the case for this, and this is a nice little case. I like it, easily pocketable. It also comes with a nice little connector, like a 6.5 millimeter connector that you can tack onto the cable. Here's the kazoo box we talked about. I can attest to you that they do work very well and my kids love them. So they're kind of fun if that is something you guys are interested in. Now, the cable's nice, it's a 3.5 and it terminates into that 4.4 connector that you can see here, and you can stick it on and it works and looks pretty good. You have a nice cable, it feels good in hand, and there's no major fault with it, no major problem with it. I like the cable. It has a nice little Y split here with their brand name on it. It has a functional chin slider for those that like it. My only real complaint is that the ear hooks are a little bit plasticky feeling. They're a little bit hard and rubberized. Not my favorite, and it is a QDC style connector, but overall, I like this cable. I think it's functional. I think it's fine, and I have no fault with it. The ear tips come in a nice circle, and I like these ear tips. Again, no problems with the packaging. Fantastic packaging. So how does this IEM sound? It sounds pretty good. It sounds analytical, but it has a nice smooth fit, has a nice selection. It's an overall nice package for an earphone, and I do enjoy it. I don't find it to be my favorite earphone, but it's also not the worst. And this is my favorite of all of the ones that NF Audio sent to me. I like the build quality. I like the look and presentation of it. So it's an analytical set. What does that mean? Let's start by look at a few graphs, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, let's look at the graph of this. You'll notice that it does kind of go a little bit lean. It does kind of raise up here a little bit, right around 4.5K. For those people that's sensitive to that, I'm not really sensitive to that region. I am sensitive to this 5 to 6 to 7K region here, but it does dip down quite a bit here. It has pretty good overall treble, and I think that's kind of what my favorite thing about it here, this IEM, is that its treble is pretty good. Its mid-range is, it's okay. If we want to normalize this, say 800, you can see that it has kind of a lean, rolled off bass shelf, but a little bit of energy at 4 to 5K. I know some people are sensitive to 4 to 5K. Again, I'm more sensitive to about 6K, but this has a nice dip. It doesn't bother me as much. And I think this is kind of one of those IEMs that, I like it. I could use it every day, but it's maybe not my favorite, as it is a little bit analytical. But for depending on what you might want to use it for, it could be good. I always like to show the graphs of other IEMs that I've reviewed or had on channel. I'll be reviewing a few other IEMs from these guys, and I wanted to show you these. This is the NF Audio RG15 Assassin's Creed Mirage IEM, and you can see and get a look at this. Just notice the bass shelf is really good here. We're going to talk about that probably in about a week. Something this kind of reminded me of is the Edmonic ERS2SE. It kind of has that lean bass shelf. It has a little bit more energy past that 3.5K peak, but I think the treble on the NA2 Plus is a little bit better. It's a lot easier to fit in ear. The Edmonic, despite having a reasonable sound profile, just as far as deep as you have to go, does not work for me. It's not something that I personally would like. Now, this is an interesting IEM. I got the opportunity to review another one, like the NDX12, not too bad long ago. I think the problem with this one is that it had kind of an early shouty peak, which the NA2 Plus doesn't. And I think that's kind of something to important. Again, for me, that 5 to 6K dipped region is good, and that extended treble is actually really nice. It looks like on the NA2 Plus, it's kind of ridiculous, but I think if you're gonna EQ there's a lot of theories on EQ, but a lot of people feel that you shouldn't touch the region past like 8K due to questionable graph reliability. My current take is if it sounds good and it looks good, you don't need to mess with it. And so with the NA2 Plus, it kind of gives you some kind of an added benefit that treble is nice and extended, and it becomes quite a really nice IEM with a little bit of EQ or a little bit of change to it, depending on what you were looking for. As we look at this, here's another one. Here's an NA2 Nano. Again, the NA2 Plus is a really nice little smooth IEM. It's smooth, it's chill, it's relaxing. It doesn't really glare at me instantly, but when I start putting in my audiophile ears, it is a little bit peculiar sounding, but it's not something that drives me crazy. It's not something that I'm sensitive to, but it's not something that really engages me as much as I might want to. But again, the NA2 Plus, I think it's a pretty solid pick for what you do. It has pretty even mids, and it's not bad. Here's another one I wanted to show you. This is a Moondrop Aria. I had a Moondrop Aria not too long ago, and the filters basically fell out as it got old, and we graphed it here, and you can tell kind of how crazy this is. You can tell that the NF Audio NA2, it doesn't have these crazy peaks. It's pretty even kiltered. It kind of fits that curve pretty well, and it's an overall pretty nice little set, and all things considering. The next one I wanted to compare this to is the 7 Hertz Aurora. The 7 Hertz Aurora is known to be a detail monster. And that sound profile isn't something that I personally really love. I think that the 7 Hertz Aurora is a $400 IEM. The NA2 Plus is $170. Depending on what you want to do it, but it is hard if you really want a good analytical style IEM that fits good, and it's something that you want to take to the studio. I feel like the NA2 Plus would fit all those requirements for what you might want. So let's rank this thing up. The NF Audio NA2 Plus, I think, is in some good competition. I think it's competitive for its price. It's not necessarily something I would recommend, but I'm kind of a little bit of a bass head, and sometimes people want something that's a little bit more analytic leaning. I found it lacking a little bit of bass, but I thought it had good technicalities, and when it took EQ, I thought it was just a really nice set. Again, it has nice air and treble. I think it's a nice driver. I think it's a nice shell, and has a lot of good qualities that make it a redeemable IEM in my ears, despite it not being something that I personally would prefer. But I could see how people who needed an analytical set for recording or maybe for stage use of this might be a good thing for them. But as I am just, a lowly audiophile and gamer, I'm not really sure what they might need. So it gets kind of a cautious recommendation. Like if it's already on your radar, I think it's something to consider. So, audio is a funny thing. Sometimes you got to look for a set that's cozy, that fits, that's durable, that looks professional and chill, that you're not going to be worried about banging on a desk, or that has great durability. I think this is one of those sets. This has really good durability. Its shells are pretty and sleek looking. It's one of those IEMs that, it's a reasonable priced IEM, and it gives you really what all you could really ask for. a little bit of analytics, a little bit of, like sounds are good on it. It's a nice little set. If it's something that you're after, I would encourage you to go after it. But, it's probably not something that I personally would recommend or buy myself. But I can see how other people would like this set, especially if you're someone who does not like a bass shelf. And there's a lot of people out there that don't. But for me and for my audience, there's other things I would recommend at this price. If you guys have any questions or comments about this, let me know. And again, we'll be seeing a few more sets from this NF Audio here in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?